Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and welcome to today's webinar. This is part of the CGF Health and Wellness Learning Series. And today's webinar, in the next 30 minutes, we wanted to give you some insights from our annual Health and Wellness report and bring you up to speed on our plans for the future. But most importantly, get your feedback and any insights or counsel that you may have for us for our reporting going forward for the Health and Wellness pillar. So I'm Sharon Blyne. I lead Health and Wellness here at the Consumer Goods Forum, and today's webinar is being recorded for those people who are not in an appropriate time zone and will be available on our website after the webinar. So with me on today's call, I'm joined by Mary Kearney, and Mary is from Unilever and helps us lead the measurement and reporting workstream here at the Consumer Goods Forum. So do please feel free to answer any questions that you have that come to mind either during the webinar or afterwards. You can either email me, my email's on the screen here, s.bly@theconsumergoodsforum.com, or you also have this chat box on the right hand corner of your screen, where you can ask questions to Mary herself as we go through the webinar. But please don't worry if you think of something afterwards. We remain open to any questions that you have or any ideas that you have after you've heard our update on our progress to date. So what we want to take you through in the next 30 minutes is an overview of the results and progress that we discovered from our annual progress report. As many of you may know, we are coming to the end of our 5-year plan, but we want to state the importance of the health and wellness commitments going forward. We want to bring you up to speed on our planning for the next 5 years, and in particular on one of our flagship initiatives, which is Collaboration for Healthier Lives. And then we do, of course, have a call to action to all of you who have joined us on today's webinar. So just to situate, health and wellness, as you know, is one of the strategic priorities at the Consumer Goods Forum, and it sits among the pillars, which you can see here on your screen, on environmental and social sustainability, on product safety, food safety and non-food safety, and of course our pillar, the enabler, on the end-to-end value chain and standards. And health and wellness, we've made the commitment to publicly report on our progress on an annual basis. And we published our report in February this year, and this is the 5th year that the health and wellness pillar has published its progress. So Mary's going to give you an overview of what we've seen from the report, and I hope you all have your copy of that. If you don't, just give me an email and I'll send it to you. It's also available on our website. So Mary will bring us through this, and we'll give you some details on our future plans and how we would hope that you'll be able to help us going forward in health and wellness. And we leave time at the end for questions and answers. So Mary, over to you.
Thank you, Sharon, and hello everyone. Welcome to the call. Let me just start by saying I'm quite honoured to be presenting the collective results of the CGF membership on health and wellness actions on behalf of the total group, and particularly on behalf of the Measurement and Reporting Task Force and Deloitte, without whose dedication we wouldn't have a report to be presenting today. So thank you for that. I'm going to share the results of this year's survey. But as Sharon said, we started this already 5 years ago. In the first year, we did a survey, a pilot with the members of the board to see is this a feasible action to take with regard to the health and wellness resolutions. And at that time, we concluded that we would go forward. So here we are, 5 years later. The survey was initiated to encourage the widest implementation possible of the health and wellness resolutions and commitments, with the idea that if companies who haven't yet started to see other companies getting on board and progressing action and being able to report on that, it's a stimulus for those companies to get started in the whole area. Also, equally importantly, the annual survey and the publication of results are an important route to provide transparency of the industry's actions around health and wellness, particularly for policy stakeholders. As we know, health and wellness is a very hot topic externally, with many calls on the industry to take action. So the idea of the report is to show what the industry has been doing, what we're learning going forward, and indeed what challenges we still face. So now we're in our 5th year, as Sharon has said, that we've produced a progress report. So good time to take stock and see if this is the right way to continue or if we need to change direction. But before getting into that, I would like to look at the results that we've now published in February. 83 companies provided a response, of which 15 were first-time reporters. So we see slowly but surely more companies are getting on board and being able to report. And thank you very much for those companies who did. The logos of the participant companies are available in the report and on the website. So if you need to know who's taking part, you can see there. Basically, together, the companies represent an overall revenue of more than $3 trillion US. I find that hard to say with my Irish accent, but I think what it's showing here is that as a CGF membership, we have potential for huge scale and impact when working together on aligned goals. I think it is also fair to point out that we didn't reach our goal of 120 respondents this year, and this has been a constant issue that we've seen. It is a challenge to report every year. So 83 companies reporting is a great achievement. It is, of course, not the total CGF membership. And this is another reason, again, why we're looking at the reporting that we do, the measurement that we do, if it's fit for purpose, and if it's really having the right impact with this report. That said, we can go into the results. Sharon, if we go to the next slide. Yeah, we have it here. The results really are quite encouraging of the companies that are reporting, right? So we see that 85% of companies have formed partnerships, are reporting to form partnerships with community stakeholders. More than 1.6 million of employees are participating in health and wellness programs run by their employers. And well over 50% are participating in food bank programs, so making a significant contribution to food availability for the needy. So these are really encouraging responses and in line with the health and wellness resolutions that were set a number of years ago. We also know that, and could say that the companies who report might be those ones who are the most active in health and wellness. But we also know that reporting, as I've just said, is quite a challenging task, and not every company will have global reporting and tracking systems set up. So I prefer to see these results as encouraging and as the right move forward in terms of the CGF getting engaged in health and wellness for the communities. On the next slide, we see also that the CGF members are bringing the health and wellness agenda right to the core of their portfolio, with more and more companies reporting reformulation on their products. Over the last 2 years, in fact, the numbers are up to and more than actually 200,000 products having been reformulated, with a high focus on the nutritional profile of the products. So more than 2/3 saying that they've reduced sugar content, and about 3/4 of companies reporting that they're reducing salt content in the portfolio. And this is a significant step forward already since last year. So again, really demonstrating moves in the right direction and highlighting indeed the usefulness of this type of report to show that these positive actions are taking place. If we go on to even the next slide, which is showing the resolutions and the commitments, I hope that you can see it on the slide. So the high-level health and wellness resolutions, which were set out by the CGF to demonstrate action to improve consumers' lives and well-being, they were set up in 2011, and we can see a high level of engagement on those resolutions. The commitments, which are the items in green on the slide, they were set in 2014, which were really about cementing the resolutions in terms of more measurable actions, so they had deadlines. And we see significant steps forward, particularly on the companies making public their policies on nutrition and product reformulation. Significant step up there, and the same for the employee health and wellness programs. For the other two areas, in terms of providing consumer information and product labeling, we see a small increase, and the same with marketing to children, responsible marketing to children, where the commitment ends this year, a small increase again. I would say here are the areas where this a significant step up is still required. Product labeling, responsible marketing are really key pillars for health and wellness strategies and for policymakers to enable consumers to live healthier lives. The deadlines for these commitments set by the CGF are the end of this year, so hopefully we would see a step up of actions in these spaces. So all in all, I would say, if we go to the next slide, Sharon, I think we see encouraging results in terms of the achievements that have been made. There is plenty more to be done, but of course we all recognise this is a journey that we're on. The health and wellness pillar is really something that is evolving, and Sharon will take us through that in a bit more detail in a few moments. But for the CGF, we really want to be looking at what's our unique point of difference with the CGF membership, and that is more around what can we do with the consumer touch points that we have, whether that's in store or whether it's through the digital channels that we have. How are we there offering health and well-being solutions to consumers, and what can we do better in that space? Overall, we're hopeful that the progress that you've seen in the report and that you can read more detail online is encouraging the entire membership to get involved. And I think we can see that with more new members coming on board already this year to let us know what their progress is. But we do believe that the collaboration between retailers, manufacturers and service providers is something that we can do more on to empower people to live healthier lives and at the same time drive business growth. That's a very quick whirlwind of the top line results, but I think it's enough to whet your appetite for Sharon now to take us through the next part of the health and wellness pillar and where we're going on from here. We'll come back in a few moments to get your input on how you think the reporting has gone in the past and if you have learnings for how we should set it up for future success. Sharon, over to you.
Great, thanks a million, Mary. And as Mary said, an overview of our progress to date on the health and wellness resolutions and commitments. And as we mentioned at the beginning, 2018 is the end of our 5-year plan. So the steering committee, who oversee the strategy of the entire health and wellness pillar, is now reflecting on its future and what our path to success will look like to 2023. You can see here on the slide, these are the work streams that the steering committee are currently focusing on in order to build that 5-year plan, which will be presented to the CGF Board of Directors at their next meeting mid-June in Singapore. So Collaboration for Healthier Lives are these retailer and manufacturer community initiatives that we're driving in numerous regions around the globe. We want to use digital as an enabler to healthier behaviours in the Collaboration for Healthier Lives initiatives. We want to ensure that the well-being of employees in those initiatives is absolutely embedded into the framework of actions that we are putting in place. We're also, as Mary mentioned, questioning our leadership agenda and our commitments and resolutions going forward. What will they look like in our plan to 2023? And in particular, what do we need to do? Because we still have 2 commitments that Mary mentioned on transparency and labelling, responsible marketing to children, which we really need to step up our implementation and drive those commitments going forward. And we're also looking with the Health and Wellness Steering Committee on bridging health to other pillars at the Consumer Goods Forum, in particular around transparency and food waste. And so Collaboration for Healthier Lives, this is really I would say the core initiative of what we're doing, and we've really seen that by acting together as retailers and manufacturers, we can engage people towards driving progress of healthier baskets and behaviours. We really can be a convening power with stakeholders, and we've had some great local stakeholder engagement. And we also see that this can be good for business. What's good for the consumer can be good for business. And we're embedding Collaboration for Healthier Lives into business strategies to ensure it's sustainable going forward. So the journey has started in a number of regions around the globe, and this is something that we're in conversation with a number of additional markets, such as South Africa and France. Turkey, our members at Migros Turkey are just beginning their initiative this month. So there's many new things happening, and how we will measure our progress going forward, of course, is one of the important parts of this framework for Collaboration for Healthier Lives. You can see here on the screen just some images of some of the activities that are happening in Colombia, in the US, in Japan, for example. And we really have 2 main KPIs, which is driving healthier baskets and driving awareness around healthier behaviours and raising awareness about health and wellness. The huge amount of activity going on in stores around the globe, and also supported with digital activities. So the steering committee that oversees the full strategy, this is what we're thinking about for the next 5 years. How can we implement collaboration for healthier lives in countries where members can act together? How can we really leverage our collaboration and the environment that we have, which is the store and digital environment, to drive healthier behaviours? How can we ensure we look after the health and well-being of our own employees? There's 10 million of you working across our member companies. How can we have the right public-private partnerships and really work on a whole systems approach, a holistic approach to health and wellness? And how can we ensure that we share data that will really help with this behaviour change and help with understanding learnings from collaboration for healthier lives? So you'll see that measurement and data sharing remains a really key and critical piece to the strategy for the pillar going forward. So I'll hand you back to Mary. This gives you additional context of where we're going. And now, as Mary mentioned, we have a question on our future and where does that leave us with measurement and reporting going forward. So Mary.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon. So yeah, our call to action for those of you attending today or listening in on the webinar from the online version, we really encourage you to share this report. Share it internally with your own colleagues and with your own peers, but also externally through LinkedIn, through Twitter, etc. On the next slide, Sharon has put out some ways of how you can do this. And really, as we're on a journey, it's important to get the engagement of the full membership and how we're going to go forward with 2023. There is already a strawman plan in place and gathering real input in the coming weeks of what we're going to be doing, as Sharon has explained. And any input, any ideas that you have in terms of what we can be doing would be really welcome in this space. I would like to just take a few moments, if we can do this over the call, to hear from you in terms of learnings from the reporting. As we said, we've done it for 5 years now, including the pilot. We have got a significant number of companies who report every year, and then we have some companies who dip in and out and they report now and again. And as we've seen, we do see some very positive actions coming forward. We also see that not every company is reporting, and is maybe the way that we're doing it not the right way to approach it. Is there changes in the methodology that you think we should be bringing in? What impact do you think we should be having, or is there other ways to do it? So if it's okay, I'd like to open the lines, so you need to come off mute to share any input that you have. So I'll just stop talking and let's see if something comes over the line.
So who would like to be the first to comment? Mary, I've received a question via chat for you. So in terms of the health and wellness commitments going forward and collaboration for healthier lives, how will you integrate the learnings from both going forward?
Point of view is, of course, we haven't worked out in detail how we're going to marry the two approaches, but I do think we owe it to ourselves as a membership and also to our stakeholders as we continue to report the numbers of companies in terms of the commitments, particularly around labelling our products and on responsible marketing. For collaboration for healthier lives, we know this is something that companies are getting involved in on a voluntary basis. So I think telling the different stories of what challenges have been faced and what progress has been made in those spaces makes for a compelling report and shows the real uniqueness of the CGF and how we reach consumers.
Great, thank you. And I've had another one come in. Yeah, I think so. And what we can do is I can follow up with the person as we move forward in the 5-year plan. And I've had another one come in via chat in terms of the progress that was made on the 2 commitments that you mentioned, Mary. They're quite small, and what has been in plan to really, drive implementation of responsible marketing and labelling and transparency.
what we've been doing is encouraging companies to respond, and we get limited success in that space. So we would be looking to all of the members to encourage their peers to also be included in, or to also include their responses. We are also have been running learning series, and maybe Sharon, you can say more about that, because some companies, it's quite new for them to adapt responsible marketing practices. So the learning series has highlighted how to get involved and how to get started in this space, and we can push that through a bit more through the membership as well. And we did ask through the board particularly, and also at the retail summit, wasn't it, last year, to really encourage companies to make the commitment and to report on their commitment. We do know that in some cases we see more food and beverage companies getting involved on these spaces than, say, companies or manufacturers that aren't in that space. We may need to look at how we were reporting the responses as well, and make it more targeted to the companies where it really is most relevant versus companies where this is not part of their program. So a few actions in place, but it really is encouraging to see that people are responding, but we need more to let us know what's going on. Probably we could look at a bit as well in terms of what challenges companies are facing, and maybe it's not something that people are willing to share over an online survey, but to engage more through the task forces.
And actually, the next question, no, I think you've covered it perfectly. There is a wealth of information on the website, as you mentioned, in the learning series and webinar recordings. And please, for anyone who is questioning implementation on any of the commitments, please do get in contact with me. Either the CGF can help you or one of the members, but we can put you in contact. And the next question I've received is, could you elaborate a bit on how companies can get engaged in working groups, and what are the engagements beyond reporting?
You want to take that one, Sharon?
Yep. So yes, absolutely. As we showed here on the slide, there I'll go back to it. There are a number of work streams that the steering committee are currently elaborating as we build the 5-year plan, and absolutely we are open to new members joining us. Of course, we'd love new thoughts and people to help us think about measurement and reporting going forward. But the other work streams that you see here on your screen, these groups are open. So please do get in contact with me, and I will fill you in. They have a number of calls coming up now in April, as we're really ramping up to build the content of the 5-year plan that will be presented to the CEOs in June. So I'll reach out to you to be part of those working groups. Just looking, we have a minute left, and as Mary said, you'll see on screen here how to share the report, which we co-built with Deloitte, and we will shortly as well have a short video which highlights the report learnings, which we'll share widely across the CGF membership and at upcoming CGF events. So that's also a nice way that you can share the learnings if you were part of it, or if you'd like to encourage one of your peers to be part of the report going forward. So do we have any final questions or comments? No, it doesn't seem like it. Okay, Mary, any final call from yourself?
Just what we've already said. Please share the report with your colleagues internally and with your peers externally to get a bit of traction on these good results and to be improved going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. And if you do have ideas and insights to share with us, we will happily take them on board as we drive our plans and methodology for 2018 and 2019. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining.